Good evening. It's good to see everybody. And this evening, we are going to talk about our mandala offerings. We're going to talk about merit and wisdom. And it is the next piece of our Nundra practice. And we'll wait just a moment before we do our opening prayers. A few more people can get settled. It's important to be relaxed, be able to listen in an open way in receiving the Dharma teachings. So last class we worked with Vajrasattva, and Vajrasattva was for the purification. And now from a purified mind, we make offerings. And why is it important to make offerings from a purified mind? All giving is good, is important, is helpful, is beneficial. The mandala offerings is like a grand generosity. And the impact and the karmic impact of this kind of generosity is that it comes from as pure of an intention as we have, and our offerings are also purified, and the receiver receives the offering in a very open-hearted wisdom way. So the power of that kind of offering is very, very great, and it multiplies. So when we do our mandala offering, we're actually offering whole universes. And in the book, Words of My Perfect Teacher, there is a mandala offering, which is like a hologram. And it looks like everything is piled high. And so we're going to talk about what that is and why that is. But first, we'll start with our opening prayers. And for our aspiration, may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings always be free from pain and suffering. And from Shanti Deva, for as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all beings' pain. And our request for teachings, reflecting on all beings, our specific states of mind, great or lesser, will you please turn our wheel of Dharma now? So, simply put, a mandala is a circle. And our mandala offering is going to have two different aspects. One we are looking at, and another one I will demonstrate. But first, we'll take a look at why are mandala offerings part of Nundro. As we know, Nundro is a collective of different practices, and they all do something a little bit different. I'm first going to read the very, very brief, condensed mandala offering that Azampelo Rinpoche wrote for us as condensed. And what condensed means is that every word is very poignant, very full, and very profound. Om Ahung, 3 Kaya lands, oceans in one drop, endless, such in each tiny atom, offered now to refuge ocean, so goodness, wisdom, both needs now complete. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala, come near ya ta ya me. And then there's another slightly more elaborate mandala offering. This ground, perfumed and with flowers strewn, Mount Meru, 4 islands, sun and moon, I give, seeing them as Buddha lands, whereby may all enter in pure lands. Idam Guru Ratna Mandal Kam Niryata Ya Mi. The mandala offering is vast, and the impact on the mind is also vast. It's said that to achieve Buddhahood, to have our own Buddhahood uncovered, it takes a tremendous amount of merit. One teacher called merit a great power of mind. So we need a great power of a mind and an accumulation to be able to hear the Dharma, practice the Dharma, have the conditions right for practice, connect with a teacher. And all of this is due to the accumulation of merit. Merit could also be positive energy. We might look at some simple acts of generosity. What we talked about of the purity of the intention, the person, the object, and the receiver. And of course, the very first was right when Shakyamuni Buddha was becoming enlightened. At first, as Prince Siddhartha, he spent 6 years practicing in the forest, and one of his practices was fasting. And when he was under the Bodhi tree, it was said that he just did not have enough energy to go through the night. And coming by was a milkmaid, and the milkmaid saw this emaciated yogi sitting there, and she very carefully brought over a small bowl and her pan, and she offered milk rice. And it's said that from the milk rice, then indeed the Buddha had enough strength to go through the night and at the first star of dawn become awakened. So very profound gift, very profound giving. The mandala offering is multitudes of offerings of milk rice, so that these words that are said are really infinitesimal, and every atom has numerous offerings, so that the mind just expands and expands and expands with what is called clouds of offerings. So when Azam Rinpoche taught the mandala offering, and there were people who took notes, this was quite a long time ago, And so what I'm going to do this evening is to read you those notes, and then we will be able to share that again as well. So from his words, there are two types of mandala offering. One is mandala of accomplishment on the shrine, and that is to my left. So some of you have seen this before in teachings, empowerments, or perhaps have one on a personal shrine. So this is called a mandala of accomplishment. Then there is the offering mandala, and that is what we're going to learn this evening. When I very first learned the offering mandala, I knew that I was going on retreat and there was going to be mandala offerings. I had seen that, but I didn't quite know how to do it. And the bottom of the mandala has a pan, and that is often used for the mandala offerings that we will demonstrate. However, at that time, I didn't have anything like an accomplishment mandala, and I did not have anything at all. So I was just about to meet up with the people I was going on the retreat, driving to the retreat with. And so there was a store that was kind of an antique store. So I went in to see if they had anything that would look like a mandala pan. And they did. And I still use it to this day. It's brass. It happens to have an engraving of Hagia Sophia, which is in Istanbul, Turkey, where I visited. And although it was not a traditional mandala pan, it had a flat bottom and it was brass, very steady. And I could use it for my mandala offering, which I will demonstrate. So sometimes we don't have all of the accoutrements, but we can make do. So I made do with my mandala pan like that. The one on the shrine, and this is the one on the shrine, is like the receptacle or place of abiding of the sources of refuge. That's where we are addressing our offerings. So we're going to be visualizing, and this representation is what we will be offering towards, although our visualization will be much bigger. We offer actual substances, different grains, and perhaps jewels. I know I went out and got some beads, and along the way, someone gave me some medicinal herbs, and I put that in my mandala offering. And then what's most important, and which is most dramatic for Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhism, is that the offerings can be visualized. They can be mountains of gold and jewels, and as one teacher put it, whole shopping centers, and we can visualize things very grand. And this is for both our mind in letting go, and also it is generosity, and also it's the desire to give. And we might wonder, well, why are we giving to enlightened beings who may or may not need that? And so I want to read you a quote about that. Even when you realize in the absolute there is nothing to accumulate or purify, still continue to accumulate even the smallest amount of merit. To offer to the Buddhas in all Buddha fields, the entire cosmos of 1 billion worlds, replete with everything that could be desired, will perfect the primal wisdom of Buddhas. So this merit that comes from the visualization of clouds of offering is incredibly important. And we all understand karma. Many people are generous and have received beautiful things in return, karmically. I know that when I was in the monastery and had just ordained, and it said that after an ordination, after an empowerment, after a teaching, everything is purified, and it's an incredible time to give. The heart is open, and there are wise people around, and any type of generosity, whether it is money or items, are just exalted. And when I was in the monastery, every Sunday, people would bring towels and would bring requisites for the monks, fabric, food. And so after my ordination, I wanted to offer Mahasi Sayadaw something meaningful, respectful, and of course, to make a generous offering. So besides offering money, besides offering something to the monastery, I offered Mahasi Sayadaw a very beautiful pen, because he was both a meditation master and a scholar, and felt incredible to do that, and felt incredible to give at that moment. And then I didn't really think about it very much, and it was over. Many years later, and we can't know exactly karma. Karma is one of the unthinkables. But many years later, my father called me into his home office and he said, "There's something I want to give you." And my father was generous, but he didn't always give spontaneous gifts. And so he reached in his drawer and he brought out a box. And in the box was a pen. And it was one of the most beautiful pens I had ever seen. It was a pen that was from Italy, and it was made as a tribute to Buddhism coming into the 20th century. And it had hand engraved silver, small, like depictions, carvings of the Buddha in different aspects. And it was called Triratna, meaning the triple gem of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the karma of receiving this pen was just incredible. And I didn't really think about when I too had offered a pen, but there it was. We don't give in order to get. We, in mandala offerings, are giving so that we can offer our best, which includes ourselves, in order to accumulate merit for the purpose of our own and others' enlightenment. So we offer the mandala of the 3 kayas, Nirmana Kaya. We offer 100 world systems of everything of beauty in them, and we offer our own body, resources, and virtues. So already our minds are expanding with what we offer. World systems. In the Sambhoga Kaya, we offer the Pure Land of Vairocana. And we'll see this word when we talk about both the accomplishment mandala and also the mandala that we will be practicing. And Vairocana is the central deity of the Buddha family. And the retina in the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, the time is everlasting continuum. We are offering into everlasting continuum. And the Dharma of unconditioned clear light. Our offering is our own self-vision. So we're offering our own perfected understanding and wisdom. And the place is a highly adorned Pure Land. So this kind of offering is the reason that the photo, in words of my perfect teacher, is more like a hologram. And it's massive. And our minds can just expand with this type of an offering. And we offer to the 5 Buddha families. And they are representative of the Buddha, the Vajra, the jewel, the lotus, and the action. And for now, what we're focused on is the level of offering. It's that level of offering that brings massive amounts of merit. And again, within the Tibetan Buddhist system, that is with visualization. And of course, like the quote says, all aspects of merit are important, whether it's that we're giving objects to the monasteries, whether we are funding a project, whether we are building a stupa, or whether we're imagining pure lands, Buddha lands. As one their Dharma friend said, she learned shopping centers, stores that you like. And again, not that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas need those, but our own expression of generosity becomes that. And then the Dharmakaya, this is the final and complete realization of the mandala. We offer our meditative equipoise and whatever we have at the time of our meditation, and we offer the unborn, unconditioned, clear light, the ultimate mandala of the true nature, which is free of the 3 spheres of subject, object, and action. One atom itself contains infinite offerings. These are innumerable particles or atoms. The Buddha can place a whole world system in a hair's paw. In this tiniest of atoms, there are an infinite number of pure lands. And we offer this to the refuge beings to accumulate merit and wisdom. In a nutshell, all these worlds that fill up the sky, and along with our own body, spirit, and mind, and our merit, all the things that we have attachment to are offered up. Through the mandala offering, we offer everything, thereby amassing the 2 collections of merit and wisdom. Achieving one's own purpose is the attainment of the Dharmakaya. And for others' purpose, one attains the Rupakaya of a form body. And that means that we can give. With this mandala offering, we are requesting that in the future, we will have these 3 bodies and help all sentient beings. The mandala is very significant. This offering can especially purify conceptions of holding on to self and lead to the realization of emptiness. Mandala means circle. The central circle is the primordial wisdom, the omniscience that knows bliss to arise in our own continuum. So here we have a very profound description. Some of the words may be heard for the first time, but the spirit of the magnanimous generosity, worlds and every atom offered, pure lands, the bliss, the emptiness, the purest of our consciousness, all offered. And again, it's for our own and others' enlightenment. So mandala practice becomes our own practice. So again, we have our attainment mandala, and then we have our practice. And first we polish the mandala pan. So here's the mandala pan, and we are polishing it with, holding it in our left hand if we're right-handed, and we polish it with our not the palm, but just the side of our hand. And this is symbolic of polishing the base of our mind. And at first, this might seem a little bit funny. However, it's effective. So first we clean the mandala pan, and then with our wrist, and we do this in a circular motion. Again, it's the symbolizing of the purification of the obscurations of all of our lives. That's a lot. And we do this with great force. And the first time we can say the 100-syllable mantra. And once we finish polishing, we scatter a little bit of rice and create a fence around the circumference of the disc, which indicates the fundamental bases of the universe. So this mandala pan becomes the universe. At the best, if we can afford it, we use jewels in our offering. The next best is rice. And at the very least, we can use stones and earth. Visualize and feel the hosts of deities. And we, along with all sentient beings, are offering mandala. So not only are we offering, making these clouds of offerings, but everyone around us is joining in. And we can visualize the 5 Buddha families. We can visualize Padmasambhava and Padmasambhava's retinue. We can visualize our teachers, and we can visualize the Buddha and all the Buddha realms. And we find that our mind can expand in this way. Again, like a hologram. And we could do extensive offerings, but it's better to do the 7 or the 5 heaps of offering. And initially one lays a heap of rice in the center with Mount Meru. And again, we hold the pan, and I will demonstrate. And then we go to each direction, and these are each of the universes. So, for example, I take rice and I put, I don't want to make too much noise, a little bit in the middle, and that's Mount Meru. And then we go to each direction and we say our phrase, and then we circulate the rice or the stones. For example, I keep my stones in a little pan. They can get really noisy, so I'm not going to use them here. Sometimes the bead stores, or sometimes we can go to some of the stores that have little colorful rocks. We can also put our rice in saffron water just to make it a little bit orange, a little bit yellow. And then we let the rice go towards our Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then we do it again. On the last round of mandala, we have the rice or the jewels come towards us. So we are receiving that merit. So a lot of times it's helpful to have a cloth so it doesn't get too messy. And then when we do the mandala offering, we can also hold our malas and count. So it's a little bit of a setup. And so the setup is a cloth, any cloth. We can be on the floor, we can sit at a table, and we have our pan, and we have our rice. But what's most important is our intended visualization. So these were many words on doing mandala offering. The most important of these words is to allow the mind to open to the vastness of giving and know that all of this merit is being accumulated for the purpose of practice. And once again, merit is a great power of mind, and the merit also opens the mind to wisdom. It purifies obscurations so that we can go more deeply into our opening into who we really are. I'm going to read the mandala phrase again, and it is within the text of Waves of Splendor that we are working with from Azam Rinpoche. And when we hear the condensed version, there's a little more understanding of what we're doing. And when we do the practice, really the practice that we do, because it's condensed, is just these 4 lines. Omahung, 3 kaya lands, oceans in 1 drop, endless, each in each tiny atom, offered now to refuge ocean. So goodness, wisdom, both needs now complete. Idam, Guru, Ratna, Mandala, come near, Yada, me. And that just means that to the Guru, we are making these special, precious object offerings of the mandala. It's actually very simple. What was spoken this evening was a little more complex so that the shortened version could be better understood. And the real skill is how vast can our minds open and come forth with complete generosity, without attachment, and truly wanting to benefit. And again, the greatest offering is the purity of intention, the purity of the offering, and this is where the merit comes in, the purity of the receiver. So it's said to offer and to give to enlightened beings, to those upholding the Dharma, is a very great merit. So that's the reason that we have both the accomplishment mandala and also why we have the mandala practice. And when we do begin to do accumulations, we do 100,000 of the mandala offerings, and they actually go very quickly because it's just 5 lines. And with the mandala, sometimes it seems a little bit messy, like all the rice is spilling onto the mandala pan and the jewels are going everywhere, even when we put our cloth down, but we gather it all back up together and use it again. So a lot of times if one can sit on the floor, that can be a little bit easier, but sometimes sitting at a table or being on a chair on a table is absolutely fine. Again, it's the visualization, it's the vastness of offering that's truly important. So mandala comes after the Vajrasattva practice because this is when we've really purified the mind, and then we can make those pure offerings to those pure beings and establish the merit and wisdom. And it really is an interesting connection about merit and wisdom, that it actually takes this power of mind called merit to be able to connect with our own inner wisdom, because we have totally let go. We have totally let go to our attachments. We have totally let go to our attachment to body. And we are offering everything. And when we offer everything, then everything returns multifold. So this evening, there might be a few extra questions in terms of mandala, and we will take the questions. I also want to once again compare the mandala offering to very wholehearted generosity. And wholehearted generosity is especially important. And generosity is both another way of focusing on others and sensing what their needs are and giving of that, whether it be food, sustenance, clothing, support, friendship, whatever it may be, incredibly important. The difference is that mandala offerings expands that to each tiny atom. So our normal generosity, if we can just imagine that going outward, spreading throughout the universe, and that becomes a real force field. And like one teacher calls it, a power. And so that power of generosity goes within the universe. And then we also, when we do give, when we do become great gurus, we have that merit and that wisdom to be able to give in a more powerful way. So we're going to close a few minutes early so that we have the time for questions and also for elaboration. This is a very short 5-sentence practice, and yet it contains a lot. So we do not record our questions, as you know, and we will have our closing. And Droma, do you have our closing there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that would be beautiful.
Okay. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground.
Thank you.